Okay, this is John Burroughs again, and we're off to chapter 19 of my book, autobiography, actually, 7 Years to Life. The name of this chapter is Off to California. A few days after the going away party, my good mood had worn off, and the realization began to set in. We were 4 days away from our departing date, and I became a miserable little brat. You see, at that age, I figured the longer and louder I protested our move, I could somehow stop it from happening. Also, my brother contributed his fair share to the no move movement, and I could see it was weighing heavily on my mom's mind to the point where I had honestly thought we had won the battle. However, my mom had her own strategy on how not only to shut us up, but to genuinely excite us to the point where we were anxiously looking forward to the move. She had told us that there would be beaches, horses, beaches, horses, ranches, where we could ride the horses and play all day. This thrilled me so much that I went on and told all of my friends that I could find that we were going to live on a ranch and have our own horses. I could see many of my friends turn green with envy because what I had just described was the antithesis of New York City lifestyle. All of a sudden, California had become the promised land. The day of our departure had finally arrived, and from the moment the plane took off until the moment it landed 5 hours later, I was burning inside. As we began our descent, I looked out the window and I could see the beaches, the open countryside, and the various ranchers, and I could not help but wonder which of those ranches would be ours. We rushed to the baggage claim area, retrieved our luggage, and my mom hailed a cab, and she slipped inside, and I heard her tell the cabbie to take us to the DeSablo Apartments in San Mateo. I really thought I was going to hear her tell the cabbie to take us to the Bar H Ranch or something of that nature. After hearing where we were actually going, my state of euphoria plummeted to a state of dread. My fears were soon realized when we were dropped off at the DeSablo Apartments, which were, by the way, 7 stories high, and the feeling I got from some of the residents waiting in the lobby for the elevator, that children were not their idea of a blessing. I now began to relentlessly interrogate my mom as to why in the hell are we living here. My mom told me it was just temporary because we were on a waiting list for more suitable accommodations. My first thought was that ranches were in high demand and that happiness that started to build in me again was quickly deflated when she continued on to tell me we were waiting for an opening at the Hillsdale Garden Apartments. I went ballistic. What about our ranch and horses? My mom very calmly replied that she had told me that there would be ranches and horses, but never at any time did she say that we would own either. She said that after we got settled in, she would take us to the beach and horseback riding. I was crushed, but I also remembered that thinking that kids and teenagers were not among the only creative bullshitters on the planet. At the time, I thought I would never get over it, but as it turned out, the best and worst times of my life happened there. Though my first couple of years turned out to be pretty uneventful and friends were scarce, the next 34 years validated, at least in my case, that life was truly stranger than fiction. Many people who knew me then and still know me now continue to marvel that I had made it this far and in relatively good condition. California did turn out to be the promised land because it was where I learned how to laugh with people, mix ego with humility, experience the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, hurt some people deeply, apologize sincerely, unexplainably cheat death, learn to communicate effectively, begin to comprehend my striving instincts, understand perfection is impossible, and know that life is the ultimate learning experience, and as much as possible, put those experiential learnings to good use by helping others. And finally, if I had not moved to California when I did, my destiny quite possibly could have been drastically altered, causing me to miss that almost impossible opportunity of finding your soulmate and discovering the wonder of what true love really offers and the hard work that is required of each soulmate. I can only hope that the following stories of triumph, failure, love, anger, danger, among many other thoughts and opinions that will be forthcoming, will be thought-provoking enough to resurrect positive change and rebuild the hypothetical bridge that connects us all, at least to the extent that good will triumph over evil the majority of the time. Let me just finish here by forewarning you that there may be more philosophical intermissions going forward because my late teenager and early adult years took place in the 60s and 70s, where it seems so many contentious discussions happened in those tumultuous and passionate years. This was the time when so many young, brilliant, and artistic minds looked forward to a bright future because they had thought they had found the roadmap to creating a perfect world. However, like so many optimistic young people in the past, they too found that perfection was an impossibility. For all of its attributes, diversity has been and always will be the largest roadblock to perfection. I may elaborate on this later, but suffice it to say that different people have different ideas of what perfection is.